Hello lovelies, it's Sunday morning, it's Lesley, not quite enough distance. How are we all? Hope everyone's okay. Thank you for all the comments and thoughts and observations on last week. Great to hear from you. Now I sit here with abundance in front of me because people are lovely, and I will go into a lot more detail at month end, but I have some things which will go into the giveaway box. No ongoing mals or anything at the moment, but by the end of the month there might be a small spinning related giveaway. But people are generous and kind, so I'm going to share with you their generosity and kindness. Firstly, Peggy, who has made these beautiful row counters. So there will be one of these to give away. Like I say, I don't know when I'll be giving these away. It will go into the prize box, but I just wanted to show you the beauty and to say thank you, Peggy. She's made these. They are fabulous. There's one for me and one for you guys, and inside the bag is a little YouTube video of where to go to find out how to use them. And my battery's running out already. Battery changed, on we go. So those lovelies are from Peggy. So I'll put those safely there so that I can put them into the prize box. Also had a message from, now I've not been given her permission to read all this stuff, but if I just call her Sarah, that's hopefully not enough to identify Sarah. Okay. Sarah won a prize a while ago, hadn't used the prize, wondered if I wanted it back to offer again, which is incredibly kind. She also said, do you want some other stuff, because she's having a de-stash? So I said, well, thank you very much. So she has very kindly sent through 3 skeins of yarn. One is the one that she'd won before. One is another beauty, and the colours on this are fantastic. I will put all details in the month end podcast. And I am going to keep this one because look at it. Isn't it just beautiful? Excuse me, so I'm getting overwhelmed. So thank you very much, Sarah. Now that's not all she very kindly sent, because we have here, she also asked, would I like some sari silk fibre to spin with? And it's not something I've ever spun with before, so I said, oh yes please, I was thinking just a little bit. Look at all this. So there is some to pass on to other spinners, which is fabulous, and it is silk, so it just feels so soft and gorgeous. And then she very kindly sent on a scarf made from her own handspun, and she said feel free to keep it or pass it along. And I'm really not sure, because I love it, but I feel a bit kind of greedy keeping it, so I will ponder on that, because greed isn't always a problem, an emotion I struggle with when it comes to yarny things. But just gorgeousness here, and that's a braver person than I, because I messaged back to say thank you, so well, I've not actually woven with my hand spun, I'm too scared, because you have to put a lot of tension into the warp threads, and I'm just frightened they'll snap all over the place. So I must be brave, and I am inspired to be brave, but not today. In addition to this, I was sorting out some stuff last week, and I found some book tokens that a friend had given me for my birthday, which was a few months ago. And I had tucked them away so safely I didn't find them again, of course. Now, I'm an audiobook listener as a rule, and book tokens can't really be used for audiobooks. So I thought this is a lovely opportunity to go for a couple of crafting related books. So I have 2. The first, the Twisted Stitch source book from Nora Garn, and I've got her cable source book, and I find it a very useful book. So there's lots of gorgeousness in here. I'm trying to cover up the patterns, but just lots of different stitches and some patterns as well. So that sweater on the back, this jacket on the front, the patterns are included. In addition to that, because the friend was very generous, this was a book that I had seen Mars of Hey Brownberry talk about, and she I don't know if she's finished it yet, but she certainly was reading it. And I thought this looks very interesting. So it's this long thread, described as Women of Colour on Craft, Community and Connection. And it's by Jen Hewitt. And it looks like it's interviews and essays from women of colour talking about their own experience of craft. So I am very much looking forward to reading this. Don't know when that will be. Time is not always my friend and work has got busy again, but I do look forward to reading it at some point. And because it's a number of interviews and essays, I think it's a sort of dip in, read an interesting section, dip out again. I don't think it's one I've got to read kind of all the way through in one hit. So how lovely. How lucky am I? How spoiled am I? So thank you again to Sarah and to Peggy for the things that you've sent through. Thank you to my friend who gave me these book vouchers that I then very ungratefully and ungracefully forgot about. And I will catch up with you later in the week. Cheers all. Bye-bye. Hello, lovelies. Do you know what? So many podcasters, they switch their camera on and this is the first time they see their hair, which is why a lot of us go like this when we're first... Hi, how are we? Dodgy light this afternoon, apologies for that. I have a small FO to show you, as always, full details in the month end podcast. But I have a cowl. Ah! So this has been made, I'm on a bit of a kick at the moment to kind of use up bits, sort out old stuff in the stash and things that don't necessarily go together. So this yarn, which is Wendy Melody, it's categorised as a chunky weight. It uses 8mm needles, so that's USA 11s, and it's not a yarn that I have many things to work with it. That was almost a sentence, wasn't it? I don't have many other things in the stash that would go well with this, is what I meant to say. But I had 2 balls of it, and I thought, it's pretty, I'll make a cowl. So I did. And I think it's quite a sort of useful colour, because it's got brighter bits in it, but because it's on a thread of black, that kind of tones everything down. So not too in your face, as opposed to many of the things that I do make. So yes, a little FO, no particular pattern, I just cast on, do you know, I can't even remember how many stitches. I am such a rubbish podcaster, sorry. I cast on some stitches, I knitted and purled in the round, and then when I was running out of yarn, I cast off. That's it. Knitting doesn't have to be complicated. So yes, it was enough stitches to make that big a cowl. So I put a few pearl rows to give it a garter effect at one end, just to stop it curling, and at the other I did my usual, which is knit 1, purl 1, followed by a plain knit row, again to stop it curling. So there we go. No, I don't think it's going to work like that. We'll wear it around the neck. It's making the hair look gorgeous again. I'm going to stop now. I'll see you later. Hello, lovelies. How are we? Every week I start off calm and it's the weekend or it's Monday and it's all... By today, which is Thursday, I'm like... So hello. I'm going to wrap things up today because tomorrow I'm out most of the day basically. But I do have one more thing to show you, which is some finished spilling. Spilling? Close. Spinning. And I'm going to rattle because I should have taken it out the bag, but I didn't. So this is some fibre that I got, not last Christmas, the one before. And it's from Countess Ablaze, who is sadly no longer dyeing yarn. Lindsay has decided to move on to things new, so I wish her all the best. Because decent human being, made some fabulous colours. This is 90% merino, 10% Firestar, so sparkly stuff, in the Geeks Like Rainbows 2 colourway. I will talk about it all at the month end podcast, but basically I've spun the colour out of this. Hopefully with the close-up you can see we've got specks of green and pinks and different colours, and I'm hopeful that knitted up you'll see these bits and pieces, but basically I didn't do a very good job of spinning the yarn. How I prepped it, how I decided to use the fibre for the spinning. Like I say, I'll talk all about it at month end. It all just looks a bit muddy, but muddy with lots of colours in it. And like, as I say, I'm looking forward actually to knitting this. It's produced a double knitting weight yarn. I'm looking forward to knitting it because I think it will be fun to knit, because you'll see all the different colours as you're making the stitches. It will also hopefully produce something quite useful. I'm thinking some kind of cowl or scarf in this would be something that I could use for sombre clothing. You know, I wear a lot of sombre clothing quite happily without a problem. But I'm kind of kicking myself a bit because of how I could have had it done. But that's okay. We live, we learn. I have lots of other gorgeous fibre with which to practice and to try. And I haven't made unusable yarn. I mean, this will definitely be used. And, you know, arguably will be more usable because it is sober and sombre. The browns and the more neutral shades have toned everything down. So I'll make something that I could probably get more use out of than if it was my usual bright colours. It's been an interesting exercise. I'm glad to have done it. It's a 3-ply yarn, mostly a classic 3-ply, although I obviously didn't divide the initial fibre very well into thirds because I had an awful lot left on one bobbin, so I just chain plied that until I used all that up. So so a bit of an exercise piece with lots of pretty colours in it that are hiding. And that be that. So this weekend, Barbara's Zoom call. Barbara and Valerie, Barbara of Flame and Fibre. Zoom call this Saturday. That starts at about 6 o'clock in the evening for me. It's during the day for the folks in the US. So looking forward to that. It's usually good fun. Himself isn't around. He's got a football match, so it'll just be me and the dog. Or just me, because the dog will be curled up by the radiator probably. So I'm looking forward to that. Apart from that, pretty sure I'll have some work to catch up on because life is overtaking me somewhat, as happens most weeks. And general bits and pieces, I think. Nothing, apart from the Zoom, nothing kind of major planned, but all good fun. If you join in with the Zoom, I look forward to seeing you. Hope everyone's okay. Hope everyone's well. I'm not going to get involved in politics or the fact that we're scrapping all COVID restrictions. And according to the Tory supporting papers, we're leading the world. Yeah, we led the world into high numbers once as well, didn't we? Moving on. That's not what you're here for. You're here for yarn and pretty things. One last thing. I'm doing my Columbo thing again. I'm pointing at you. It's very rude. Thank you to everyone who commented on the drumming stuff from last week. Now, I found on YouTube a video of the parade, so I'm going to put the link to that in the comments below. So if you're interested, I don't think you see the drummers until about sort of 5.5, 6 minutes in. You might hear us before then, but I don't think you see us before then. We are led out by the fabulous Kellyanne of Yarn Tales by the Sea, so you'll see her in her finery, and then you have about 1.5 seconds of me going, because that's sort of normal. But yeah, that's all there. So you can see what all the other things were as well. And if you're just kind of scrolling through and wondering where we are, I was saying to someone last night, a very Section 5 comment to say, we're just behind the flamingos. Of course we are. So if you're interested, I will put the link in the notes below, and thank you for all the comments. It was a lot of fun. It was great fun to be part of, and to, who doesn't like dressing up? You know, we can be grown-ups, but we don't have to be grown up about it, if you see what I mean. So I wish you all a good week. I wish you all good health. I know people are going through various ups and downs, so I hope everything is going as well as it can for you. And I will see you next week. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.